Hey, we're live. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver. How are you today? I'm doing pretty good. Um, I kind of was looking at CBR, and they had this. This is fantastic right here. 15 crazy messages hidden in popular comics. And of course, I mean, that is me right there. That is my artwork. Hello, hello. Hang on a second. Let me get a pencil here to point this out. I want to see. People talk about like crazy hidden messages in comics, and I know of a few, but I don't know of I don't know of all of them. And some of these have got to be new to me because most of the subliminal messages that people know about, are ones that artists kind of threw in their books on the way out the door. Hi. And they got fired shortly after. And then there's mine. I guess mine is the most famous. Is mine the most famous? I don't know. It might be. Yeah, so we've got, let's see what CBR has to say about this. I must have read 100 articles about this. I really don't know that. Let me lower my chair here. I don't know if it's that interesting. I mean, people tell me all the time, like, they're like, why did you do that? Like, that's not, what are you, a pervert? No, I did it because, well, it doesn't matter. But it's like, for the amount of, like, people who yell at me about this, I must have read 20 articles about this whole thing, having done it. All right, so let's see. Throughout comic book history, comic book companies have generally placed a high priority on keeping their comic books acceptable to a wide audience. As a result, there have been certain codes of conduct, even before the establishment of the official comics code, that kept creators from expressing themselves freely in their work. That is so effing true. That is so true. Damn it, codes of conduct. And we're seeing a resurgence of that now. I mean, a resurgence of basically a code of ethics, of morality, in the way creators conduct themselves. And it's a good thing, I think. But when it comes to creativity, I am not so sure that it's a great thing. As a result, some creators chose to go a different direction and work hidden messages into their comic book stories. Yeah. Quite often, these messages were benign. Jim Aparo hiding hints to who Batman was going to team up with in the next issue of Issues of The Brave and the Bold. Todd McFarlane hiding Felix the Cat in his work, and Jim Balent hiding cats on the covers of Catwoman. Did Jim Balent ever hide cats, or were they just always there? I don't know how you hide a cat. There were just cats on every cover, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah. Sometimes these hidden messages were approved by the other people working on the issue, and sometimes the artist involved just went completely rogue. Here we will take a look at 15 of the most controversial hidden messages in superhero comic book history. Oh, good. Number 15, kicked on the way out. And there we have a guy that looks like Jack Kirby. I don't know if that is supposed to be Jack Kirby or not. I only have one family. My love for them separates the truth from your lies. Your powers have no effect on me. I say that every day to so many people. Your powers have no effect on me. And then you turn it sideways, and on these books, where is that? Your powers have no effect on me. I don't see that here, but I guess, so it's beneath his arm. Okay. After Tom DeFalco was removed as editor-in-chief of Marvel in 1994, Marvel briefly tried a system where they would have 5 editors-in-chief. Thank you, Sergeant Bats. $2 for you being you. I appreciate that. That's all diaper money. I mean, I take all my super chats and buy diapers for my daughter, Ava, so thank you for the diaper fund. Marvel briefly tried a system where they would have 5 editors-in-chief, each responsible for one part of the company. Bob Harris, already in charge of the X-Men titles, became the editor-in-chief of the X-Books. When the editors-in-chief idea was abandoned, Harris was chosen as the new full-time editor-in-chief. Bob Harris is now editor-in-chief at DC. He's a great guy. Harris helped guide Marvel through some difficult times before he was replaced in 2000. Longtime inker Al Milgrom must not have been a fan. Al Milgram's an inker who just inked my brother Noah on something. So isn't that interesting? All these people, they are... diapers do not cause autism. Right. You're thinking of vaccinations. Longtime anchor Al Milgrom must not have been a fan, because in 2001's Universe X Spidey, Milgrom hid in the background of a message about how pleased he was to learn that Harris had been removed as Marvel's editor-in-chief. Milgrom lost his staff job, but he was allowed to continue to freelance on Marvel titles. What did he write? It looks like it says, Harris, haha, he's gone, good riddance, too bad rubbish, he was a nasty SOB. It's hard to read that. It's very hard to read that. But that's not a nice thing to say. This is a more recent one. Number 14 is an extremely bad idea. And this looks like what Kitty Pryde looks like now. I hate that short hair. I really do. Why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know. To get to the other side? You're thinking of why did a chicken use a Ouija board to contact the other side? All right. In 2017, Marvel launched 2 new X-Men titles, X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold, each spotlighting a different X-Men team, with X-Men Gold featuring the more traditional X-Men, now led by Kitty Pryde, and X-Men Blue featuring the time-displaced original 5 X-Men, now led by Magneto. This was part of their dedication to spending more effort developing the X-Men side of the Marvel Universe. In the first issue of X-Men Gold, however, artist Ardian Syaf hid references to a section of the Quran, QS 5:15 which had been interpreted by some people in Syaf's home of Indonesia to mean wasn't he Turkish? No, maybe he was Indonesian. I'm thinking of someone else. Home of Indonesia to mean that Muslims should not have Christians or Jews lead them. In other words, to then vote out the Christina governor of Jakarta. Marvel reprinted the issue without the hidden references and fired Syaf. Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. And Maxwell Miller, Diaper Chat for Critical Blast Badass Uncle EVS. Thank you, Maxwell Miller, for the super chat. That's correct, in case you didn't hear. I am best artist of 2017, according to criticalblast.com, and I really do appreciate everyone who voted for me for that. That made my day. So these are all, look at this, the word Jew is right next to Kitty Pryde's head, and I don't know. Yeah, here are some, I don't see what these numbers mean, really, but, is that a 51? Where's the 5? I don't know. Who cares? Ardian actually finished Green Lantern, Edge of Oblivion for me. He was the fill-in artist on that when I left to go draw Rebirth. Number 13, diamonds at the bottom of a pile of trash. I've never seen this one. I don't know if you guys have. In the mid-1970s, star writer-artist Jim Starlin had become disillusioned with Marvel Comics. He had recently taken control of a feature starring Adam Warlock that would revive enough interest that Marvel took his old series out of mothballs for Starlin to handle, after Starlin began telling stories with Warlock in Strange Tales. And he used the feature to vent a little. We all vent a little. In Strange Tales number 181, Warlock is accosted by 2 clowns who are stand-ins for Stan Lee and Marvel's art director John Romita. Oh dear, are you serious? That's Stan Lee and John Romita, and they get pies in the face. Jim Starlin, who tried to force Warlock to be homogenized, to be like every other Marvel superhero. I don't know if that's redundant or not. He fights back while also seeing Lee and Romita torture the then outgoing Marvel editor-in-chief Roy Thomas. Starlin then compared his work on Warlock to a diamond hidden at the pile of a mountain of human refuse. Gross. Armored Placoderm, thank you for the super chat. Get some cloth diapers, EVS. Save some money. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? I don't know. I want to throw diapers away. This is not the 1800s. Thank you for the super chat, though. Number 12, Thunderstruck. I don't know this one either. I don't know it. In the late 1970s, one of Marvel's top writers was Steve Gerber, who created the breakout comedy character Howard the Duck. Oh, what a genius. Gerber, though, ended up leaving Marvel following a legal dispute over the rights to Howard the Duck. Before he left Marvel, Gerber gave a couple of interviews where he complained about Marvel and also about popular culture in general, including the state of children's animation. Gerber then went into work in children's animation himself. Jim Shooter decided to roast Gerber in Secret Wars 2 by basing a supervillain, Thundersword, on Gerber, showing a liberal animation writer who, once given superpowers by the Beyonder, proves himself to be a hypocrite who decries violence. Eric Brand, thank you for the super chat. Right into the diaper fund, thank you. But then is violent himself. Basically, Shooter's criticism of Gerber, who complained about violence in kids' shows in the 1970s, but then wrote G.I. Joe, one of the most violent kids' shows around in the 1980s. It's a complicated joke. So that must be Gerber right there with the sword. Is he called Gerber? What is he saying? Junk culture, junk food, it's all part of the same canker of mass media manipulated mediocrity that gnaws away at the heart of this country. Remember when that was people's political problem? Like, mass media. You deserve a break today, McTrash food. Like, people hated fast food. Like, we all were just like, I resent being advertised to by McDonald's. It was a better time, the 1980s. Number 11, Jim Shooter gets burned. Oh no. A year later, it was Jim Shooter himself who was the subject of roasting in the pages of DC's follow-up crossover event to Crisis on Infinite Earths, Legends. People often attribute the joke here to John Byrne due to his disagreements with Shooter over the years, but Byrne was strictly the artist on Legends, so whoever came up with the joke, it wasn't Byrne. It was either the plotter of the series, John Ostrander, or the scripter, Len Wein, or perhaps the editor, Mike Gold. In any event, Guy Gardner, is that Guy Gardner? Oh dear me, he looks... Guy Gardner runs into a supervillain clearly based on Jim Shooter, including the fact that he has what looks like to be the Star Brand, and he is babbling about how powerful he is and how he just wants to create a new universe. Shooter had just then recently launched the new universe at Marvel Comics, a line of superhero comics set in a different reality than the Marvel Universe. Those sucked. I remember New Universe coming out when I was a kid, and I didn't want any of them. And those New Universe comics were basically like if you bought a 3-pack of comics at Toys R Us, like wrapped in plastic, you'd get a good comic, a kind of bad comic, and then smashed in between was a New Universe comic, and you just throw those right out the window. Like, what the hell? While in Los Angeles, he's crazy. Let's get out of here. That's right, you insignificant insects. Run from me. Flee from the fury of Sunspot. Sunspot? The ultimate power is finally mine, as it always should have been. Oh, that's Jim Shooter. Wait, I don't know. I was wrong. Okay. Yeah, those comics that were in the middle were never primo. They were always like, and please take this too, so we don't have to throw it away. Number 10, Settling Grudges. Ooh, I remember this. Even before there were such a thing as comic books, there were plenty of popular strips in the United States, and a number of these strips were adventure strips. Drawing a daily adventure strip was a total grind, and due to deadlines, most artists just copied from the popular artists in the field. The two most copied artists of the era were Hal Foster and Alex Raymond. When comic books started, a lot of comic book artists did the same. Bob Kane swiped from both Foster and Raymond in early Batman stories, and he robbed Bill Finger blind. The idea of artists copying other artists' work for their own continued into the 1990s. Uncanny X-Men artist Joe Madureira, though, was not a fan of when fellow X-Men artist Roger Cruz began swiping Madureira's work. So he wrote in a headline into Uncanny X-Men 325 calling Cruz out for the swiping. Now, yeah, look at that. Cruz swipes again. Did you see that? And he did this a lot. Like, I remember this being in a lot of books because this guy Roger Cruz would just swipe entire issues worth of things. And I remember there was something called the Swipe File on Lying in the Gutters that would basically just take the piss out of people like Roger Cruz and reassemble entire issues worth of his work, like with the images that he stole from. It was amazing. I wish they would do that again. Number 9, spoiling a tea party. Oh no. In most of the instances on this list, the hidden messages were at least intentional. An artist or a writer decided to include them in the story for whatever reason. That's what makes the hidden messages in Captain America number 602 so frustrating for the writer of that issue. In the story arc, Bucky Barnes, then Captain America, and Sam Wilson, then Falcon, went undercover into a new political party. Writer Ed Brubaker intentionally avoided explicitly connecting the people in the group to the Tea Party, the group now known as the Freedom Caucus. But the artist left the signs at the rally blank, and the letter of the comic just searched online for signs used in political rallies and threw in some common signs, thus inadvertently making the rally an explicit Tea Party rally. This freaked people out, and Marvel apologized before they edited the signs out in future printings. Teabag the libs before they teabag you. Do you remember a moment in our history as Americans when the biggest problem was the Tea Party, and everyone was angry and making jokes about sexual practices of people, calling them teabaggers? Remember when that was what divided us? Better times. That wasn't too long ago. Number 8, you know what sells? For years. Oh, I gotta read this in it. Marvel apologized. How long ago was this? Right? For years, one of the things that Ethan Van Sciver used to do to get a kick out of, he might very well still do it now, but he just hides it really well, is to hide imagery inside of his comics to amuse himself. One of the most famous examples of this was in New X-Men number 118, early in Grant Morrison's famed run on New X-Men. Van Sciver tried to hide a certain 3-letter word, 1, 2, 3, ending in X throughout the issue, as sort of a parody of the idea that people always seem to think that comics and cartoons are saying things subliminally. Well, here he actually was. The editors caught a few of them and had them changed, but most pages of the comic still involve at least one hidden example of the word. Look at the red letters on the 2 signs on the right in the first panel in the above image. God hates mutants. Go home, muties. Make them X-Men. Sex. What was I trying to do? You see that, everyone? Yeah, I don't know. And by the way, this article is wrong. The editors found 0 of them. They found 0 of them, not even 1. And I got them all through. One didn't get through because, frankly, Word Balloon kind of cut through it, but even still, it still works. This wasn't why I did it. I wasn't parodying anything. I did it for my own amusement. And we'll see more of that. Let's take a moment. Let's learn about why I may have done that right now. This is a scholar by the name of Nathan Bell, and he has made a study of what I did. Let me turn this light off here. Okay. New X-Men, Subliminal Messages by Nathan Bell. Wait a second here. All right, hang on 1 minute. Let's get back to this. Seems like I have my Bluetooth on and it's coming through my headphones instead of coming through where you guys can hear it. So let me turn my Bluetooth off. That should work. And there we go. All right, this time it'll definitely work. By the way, New 52 Superman is keeping us company. Yeah. Well, I want to be prepared. Lost Treasures Online.
When I saw all of the images of subliminal sex in just one issue of New X-Men, I had to buy the comic to confirm what a website in Italy had shown.
Yeah.
I bought the comic for a total of $4.50 on eBay.
$4.50. I think it was only $2.99. So this comic has skyrocketed in value. If you don't have an issue of this already, I'm not trying to say make a run on your comic book store, but yeah, this comic shot up at least $1 in value.
So what, right? Well, I'm going to explain 2 reasons why this can benefit you. But before that, let's go over our...
He's going to give you 2 reasons why what I did on New X-Men 118 can benefit you. So listen closely.
Our subliminals. Most of these are very easy to see.
Where?
Whether this was a pattern in the New X-Men comics, I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the others, so potentially there are many more of these subliminals in other issues that are yet to be discovered. Often I will point out the word sex, airbrushed lightly into ads, and some people say that's just a projection of an infatuation or a need. These,
Yeah, it
as
is.
well as many others I point out, are not
Oh,
airbrushed
snap.
after the fact. These are incorporated in the drawing itself, using the picture elements. The only word that this is done with in this comic is sex, which, as I always show, is the most commonly embedded word.
Whoa. Oh my God. What kind of monster would do this? Frederick Wardham was right. Where? Kids read these books. What was I trying to do? Get them to fornicate? Look, look at this. That word balloon cut right through there, but look, he found another E. That was just a W, but he said it's an E. So, okay, fair enough. This one's good. Boom. That's how I got caught right there. That was too easy. Where? She's eating chips. There's nothing. Oh, man. Her eye's crooked there. Like an anchor. Oh, this is the panel that drives me insane about this book. Absolutely insane. Look at him. Look at him sitting there on his bike. This looks like the album cover to Purple Rain. Now, look how small his head is and everything. I had to redraw this. Now, originally, his head was tilted to the side, and it was down, right? And he was lighting a cigar, okay? He was just lighting a cigar or a cigarette or something like that, and it looked so badass. They made me redraw it, put his arm down to hold his belt, and then just stare. Look at him. He's like, Purple Rain. Purple Rain. No, there's no sex in this drawing, is there? Oh, snap. Found it.
There are other subliminals also that use the typical airbrushing type method, which is hard to see.
Where?
The only other one drawn in I found that has not been previously noted
Where?
is this.
Oh.
The X is clearly not uniform with the rest of the brain. Now,
It isn't uniform.
The first way this can benefit you is that this is an easy way to have proof of subliminal messages.
All right. Now, did you hear what he just said there? Basically, what he's saying is that if you are in an argument with someone and you're saying, hey, no, there's subliminal messages everywhere. Like everywhere you look, there's subliminal messages. And people are like, shut up, you're a liar. Or you're delusional, or you're silly. Well, what you can do is you can bust out a copy of New X-Men 118. Now, you're going to have to pay for it at a premium because even though the cover price was $2.99, now it's going to run you $4.15. But it's worth it. It can benefit you because you'll be able to prove to people that subliminal messages are real. Okay, that's the first way.
If you want an example that is going to be nearly impossible to explain away, this is it. These subliminals are easy to see, and since the only subliminal found is the word sex, we can prove the use of the word sex and defeat...
Thank you, Unbuggable, for the super chat. Thanks, EVS. You're quite welcome. Right into the diaper fund. Very generous tonight, guys. Thanks.
Mind argument used by shills to claim that we project the word sex because that's all we think about or because we need to get laid.
Ooh.
Capitalists.
Okay, so he's saying, now, one of the big embarrassing things about being a subliminal devotee, like our friend Nathan is here, is that people keep telling him, like, you are just expressing a subliminal want or need, a desire for sex. You need to get laid, and you've got a dirty mind. Now, he is going to respond to that with an ironclad argument, which is New X-Men number 118, which, sure enough, he's not imagining it. He's not imagining anything. Like, it does say, look, he's going to show you. I don't need to point it out. He's going to show you in a minute. He's not imagining a damn thing. It does say sex in these comics, and he can prove it. So this is one way, like, it can benefit you. This is the main way. If someone says you're just a horn dog who needs to get laid, show him New X-Men 118, and the joke's on you.
In me says that if enough people bought this comic and kept it as an example, its supply would go down and value would go up. Now, I only have one copy, and I will not buy any more.
Why not, dickhead? Oh, excuse my language. Why wouldn't you buy more? Why wouldn't you? If one copy is good, then surely 2 copies, 3 copies, 4 copies is better. If one copy suggests that you're not a loser that needs to get laid, surely 10 copies will prove the point 10 times as well. That's my point.
But this is a great example, and if you buy it, I expect the value will not be going down. Maybe one day New X-Men 118 will be worth more than most of the other New X-Men comics, and when they look up the reason why, they will see our message. But the main idea is, you can point out all of these subliminals, even with the aid of this video, and there are just too many for an honest person to deny.
Right.
So
there are too many. You can't possibly deny. All right. It's not that he's just found 1 or 2 and they might be coincidences. Like, they might be just like, hey, it's like seeing a shape in the clouds. No, he's got, like, look, he showed you. You can actually bust out this video and you could show people case by case. You can lay out your case. Look at this. Look at the hose here and the twigs on the... That says sex. Don't tell me you don't see that. And basically, yeah. The other thing is he makes a very interesting point about if you guys all buy a copy of this book, then the value is not going to go down. I don't know why he cares about that. I think he... actually, I have no idea why he said that. I think maybe he's trying to protect his $4.15 investment. But I don't know why he would ever part with this book. It's basically the only thing that proves that he's not a loser that needs to get laid.
If you want a great physical example of subliminal messages, pick up one of these off of eBay or wherever. If you want to know more about subliminal messages, watch my full-length documentary on YouTube.
I do.
Great Subliminal Message Deception. I show hundreds of subliminal messages, documents showing the advertiser's secret tactics, and the history of subliminal messages in a level of detail that has never been done before.
Wow. So if any of you want to know, I mean, this fellow Nathan, he's got quite a few videos up there where he takes apart. He's got a full-length documentary about, this is YouTube. You can look up, I think it's called Lost Treasures. I don't know, but look up subliminal messages. You will find this video and many other videos by Nathan Bell, who is an authority. He is an absolute authority on subliminal messages in advertising, and now, thanks to me, in comics. Thank you, Eric, for the super chat. Wow, I think right now, at this point, I think I can afford a whole bag of diapers, a whole crate of diapers, so thank you, guys. Yeah, it does seem legit. Should we get back to this, or should we look at more Nathan videos? We can do both. All right. Number 7, stock prices are plummeting. I don't think any of these are going to be as good as mine, but we'll see. One of the interesting things about comic book writers working in insults against the rivals of whatever company they are currently working on is that very often comic book writers end up changing companies, at which point it is kind of awkward to look back on their older insults in their earlier work. Oh snap, I didn't even think of that. What if I try to go work for Marvel? And they're like, aren't you the dude that puts the F word in all our comics? I'll be like, no, where did you hear that? No, it was the S word. Oh my God. I didn't even think of that, guys. I might have made a big mistake in 2002. Yeah. Why would I work there? Because Ghost Rider. A good example would be J. Michael Straczynski, who worked for Marvel for most of the 2000s before leaving for DC Comics in 2009. Amazing Spider-Man number 516, he had the news report that Time Warner's stock went down because their comic book division, DC Comics, was disappointing. That's one of the more overtly hostile hidden messages that you'll find on this list, and one of the least hidden messages on the list as well. Yeah, it's rude. And by the way, I will tell you, DC Comics does notice things like that, and they don't like it. They don't like it at all. Number 6, adding insult to injury. I don't know about this one either. Some of the earliest work that Alan Moore ever did in the world of comic books was for Marvel UK, Marvel's comic book branch in England. Moore, though, objected to Marvel reprinting one of his stories in an American comic, claiming that British copyright was different and that they owed him more rights to his stories and the characters created in them. So he stopped working for Marvel. Years later, they had seemed to work out a deal with Moore to reprint his Captain Britain stories into a trade paperback, but then ended up leaving off the proper credits in the published books. Marvel claimed it was an accident, which irked Moore. So in the pages of his League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, he included, in the section of the era ads, an ad for Marvel douche. Ugh, my language tonight. My language. I really apologize, everyone. DC refused to publish the issue with the insult, so they destroyed the print run of the issue and reprinted the comic with an altered version of the ad. Where is Marvel douche? Oh, that must be it right here, and they covered it over. Oh, no, wait. Marvel whirling spray. Oh, yeah. It doesn't say douche here, though. Oh, wait. I don't know what this is. Did they place this over? But this is meant to be a douche, and it's Marvel whirling spray syringe. Injection and suction vaginal syringe. The best, safest, and most convenient. Cleanses instantly. Yeah. All right, here we go. Demonic language is number 5. Yeah. Magik of the New Mutants has the ability to teleport. She does her teleportation by going through the demonic dimension known as Limbo. Naturally, then, there have been many New Mutants stories that took place in Limbo, with the heroes getting stuck there for one reason or another. During Zeb Wells' run on New Mutants, he had the New Mutants get stuck in Limbo for a while and get caught up in a war there. During the story, the demons speak their own language. Someone figured out the code for the language, and when you translate, the demons are saying some rather offensive things. Lots of profanity. So it wouldn't be on Comic Artist Pro Secrets, not with the profanity. It's a clever way of hiding language in plain sight that would never be allowed in a Marvel superhero comic book. Okay. So back here is a dirty word in another language. Spell check is not always your friend. Oh, I remember this. Todd DeZago, who was writing Impulse with me at the time, did this. He meant like, no, he didn't. The filthy, what did he mean? Wait, through the ceremony was interrupted by one of our closest foes. That was meant to say killer, known as Sabretooth, and it accidentally says that awful word. I remember that being a big issue, a big problem. In the history of comics, nothing good has ever come out of a comic book being rushed to hit its deadline, like Wolverine 131, which ended up with a controversial hidden message in the comic due to the hurry behind the release. Brian K. Vaughan, early in his career, was brought in to script the issue after the original writer, Todd DeZago, maybe I'm confused, left the series. He wrote in his script, The Man named Sabretooth, or The Assassin named Sabretooth, and editor Mark Powers crossed it out and wrote The Killer named Sabretooth. The letterer thought the handwritten killer by Powers was the word, I'm not going to say that word, it's terrible, and, not knowing that it was a slur, lettered it into the comic. How do you not know that's a slur? Nick W. says, I was in Toronto when this happened and I found Wolverine number 131. Good. It's a collector's item. Since the comic was behind schedule, the proofreading process was rushed through, and the comic book was released into stores with the slur included. It was recalled and pulped by Marvel. So if you do have, that issue, you've got a collector's item, because they destroyed every issue. Number 3, not everyone was upset that Weapon X was canceled. I wasn't upset. Were you guys upset? I don't know. Dorothy Cohen, don't go read manga. You're the only woman named Dorothy that I know, and it's nice to meet you. A strange area in the life of a comic book series is when a comic book's cancellation is announced, but there are still a few comic books to be released before the book officially ends. These issues are odd because everyone involved knows that the book is done, so they just sort of go through the motions. Often the original artist will leave the series before the end to secure another gig on a different book. That was the case with Weapon X, as the regular artist left the book before the end and artist Tom Mandrake filled in. In the final issue, somebody wrote in a diary in a panel that, in effect, everyone involved with the book hated putting together the last few issues of the series. Oh. I must say that there. I can't read it. My eyesight isn't that good. Number 2, forwarding a letter. Wow. All right. During the famous Demon in a Bottle story arc, Tony Stark's descent. By the way, how is this better than what I did? Just let's take a moment here. This was an epic subliminal message trolling. This was epic. When Time Magazine on Marvel's 75th birthday listed 75 interesting and important facts about Marvel Comics, this was number 11. You know where this was on the list? It wasn't on the list. I'm really starting to feel like, it's because I'm a Republican that this, all right, look. If I were a far left Democrat, not to get political, would this be number 1? That's my question. No, Martin, you said don't be jealous. I feel hard done by. I do. I feel wronged. All right. It's okay. I'm not mad. Forwarding a letter. During the famous Demon in a Bottle story arc, Tony Stark's descent into alcoholism alienated the millionaire from those around him, including his longtime butler, Edwin Jarvis. In Iron Man, number 127, a drunk Tony berates Jarvis. This causes Jarvis to resign from Stark's service at the end of the issue while staying on as the butler for the Avengers. The resignation letter, however, was an actual resignation letter. That Dave Cockrum had given Marvel recently when he quit his staff. Oh, that's really creepy. Staff art position. He continued to work for Marvel, but only as a freelance artist. No one probably would have noticed had writer David Michelini not apologized for use of the letter a few issues later, noting that he didn't do it, and he would have made sure nothing like that happened again in the future. Wow, that is messed up. I don't like that. But I like David Cockrum. He was a really nice guy. I got to meet him a few times. Number 1. So this is the number 1 most interesting subliminal or hidden message in a comic book. And I already can tell you that I don't understand. I don't know what this is. So I'm curious to find out what it is. All right. And we'll read it aloud together. In the 1970s, after selling Marvel Comics, Marvel's former publisher, Martin Goodman, decided to get back into the comic book game with a line of comics called Atlas Comics from Seaboard Periodicals. This new company offered higher page rates than either Marvel or DC, but many artists were weary of going to work for a startup company, feeling, rightly so as it turned out, that the new company would ultimately fail. So they mostly got either older artists or younger artists. One veteran artist, Mike Sikorsky, didn't like working on Brute, a Hulk-inspired series, and he made his views known by drawing on the side of the plane in the issue a call sign that expressed his views in the comic book of the comic book in general. Oh, snap. Do you see that? Oh, snap. It says she number 7. Wow. Icy cold. Icy cold. Yeah. She? I mean, really, is that necessary? By the way, this is a great idea. And I have told, I've told quite a few people, it's like if you wanted to start up a company, like a small press, or an independent company, why wouldn't you just go, get these guys? Why wouldn't you get, these artists that used to work at Marvel and DC in, say, the 70s and 80s, even the 90s, who are still around and not working, and then why don't you just go ahead and put them to work for you? I will never understand that. Instead, they get these kind of amateurs. You could hire these guys right now for a song, I would think. And they're good. They know how to tell stories. I mean, this is beautiful artwork. I mean, I'm not crazy about the she number 7. Is that a comma? I don't know. Yeah. Made Fire. What's Made Fire? Yeah, get Jerry Ordway. Jerry Ordway still does work for DC, though, I think. I'm pretty sure. You guys are asking me if I am sure that it's not 5417. I can't be sure of anything, Alpha Proto. I just discovered this with you guys, so I am not sure. It sure does kind of look like a dirty word, and I would like to know. Did he admit to this? I don't know. Is Brett Blevins doing any comic book work? Or is he still working for the movie companies? That's a good question. And Brett Blevins is someone that, you would definitely want to chase after and pick up because he's dynamite. I'd get if I could have my dream, I'd get Louise Simonson. I would get Brett Blevins. I'd try to get John Bogdanove to work again, honestly. I mean, definitely. You should do... Smork Norb says you should do another subliminal message in Green Lantern, but instead of sex, do capitalism or GOP. Capitalism would be very hard to do. Very hard to do. I don't know if I could do it. I might be able to do something like Trump, but I wouldn't do that to DC Comics. DC Comics has largely been very good to me, so I wouldn't do that. I might do it in one of my own books, though. if I do Cyberfrog or something like that. Crusty Juicy Nipple Milk, great name, asks, anyone know what kind of pencil EVS is holding? You guys, if you're interested, this has been the pencil that I've used for 20 years now. See how the handle is kind of rusty here? Okay. You can go to Michael's and you can buy this. This is a Stiedler lead holder. And you can buy some lead to go in there. You have to buy these kind of packets of lead. Let me show you what they look like. All right, so this is lead. And you just get one of these, and these usually have 12 drawing leads in them. And yeah. Arachnophobe says, when are you going to buy some real art supplies? Well, like what, Arachnophobe? I would like to buy real ones. These ones are working for me pretty well. And just in case I decide to go back to my old ways, I do have a whole stash of these. Let me turn on my light. Of these beautiful pink Kohinoor rapidographs. These are unreal. Look at that. Okay. Now, these are ink pens. They cost about $30 a piece. And you actually have to take this cartridge out, fill it with ink, stick that right in there. I mean, this is a real kind of technical pen. And the problem is that Yeah. The problem is that it doesn't, it's very temperamental. You have to be very, very careful with it. And I used to use these all the time. In fact, this was the pen that I used to draw Batman Catwoman Trail of a Gun. Super, super detailed. And yeah, I wouldn't dare do that now. I mean, now I'm pretty much all Copic multi-liners. Eve says, "Whoa, technology." Yeah, I mean, yeah. But again, it's flawed technology, and you really have to know how to use these. And you have to clean them like every other day. I never clean these with Q-tips, no. I run them under a tiny stream of warm water, and then I use paper towels to make sure they're thoroughly dried out. I let them rest overnight. Yeah. I don't want to go digital. I don't ever want to go digital. Argo says, no, not rapidograph. Your books will never come out, LOL. Yeah, I don't know. At some point, guys, I'm just gonna do an art book. I mean, right now, I'm doing monthlies. I've been doing monthlies. I did 10 issues last year, which is a lot for me. A lot. I really feel like slowing down. I want to just do a magnum opus. I don't mean like an art book, like a book with just. I mean like a comic book, but I mean art. You know what I mean? Like not just trying to get a book out on time, which was kind of like the discipline that I was going for back on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, but like give me 100 pages and an entire year. Your magnum opus needs to be Cyberfrog related. That would be funny. All right, so I mean, imagine if no, it would be Rainbow Brute. Imagine if I did Rainbow Brute. I kickstarted it, and I did 100-page Rainbow Brute hardcover. Oh, Day of the Composites. Well, I'll talk to you about that in 1 minute, Mordecai. So 100-page hardcover Rainbow Brute story, like an epic story, and yeah, I think that'd be amazing. Humanoids. As for Day of the Composites, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have to do a video about Day of the Composites, and that's gonna take a minute. I mean, I'll want to get all the art out and show you guys. I would basically do a video telling the story of what Day of the Composites would have been and show you some sample artwork. So it would be like, this is the thing that I'm working on now with my YouTube channel. I actually want to tell stories on YouTube. Who would win between Rainbow Brute and Cyberfrog? Neither of them. They wouldn't fight. They'd drink together. They'd be buddies. All right, so I want to actually tell stories on YouTube where I actually draw pictures super fast, and then do you remember that when I did the Iron Man lantern thing, and I told a story while it was being drawn and colored? I want to start doing that. I want to start actually telling stories on YouTube while you watch me draw. I just think that would be epic. I've got this project, that I've been working on in that regard, where it's just hey, let's actually do something like that. This medium doesn't just have to be, YouTube doesn't have to just be commentary. It can be storytelling as well. I am a storyteller. So it's if I could find a way to tell little stories and be instructional with my artwork at the same time, then that's what I should be doing. That is what I should be doing. So that's what this is here, okay? And let me turn this light off again. We'll talk about this. Tell us about helicopter rides. Stop. Yeah. Now picture this. So you'd actually, watch me draw, and there would be soundtrack Yeah. Cursed. All right. So this is what I'm working on now. This is going to come out for the first time Tuesday of next week. And Cursed is basically Marvel fanfic. Because it's like I don't know if I'm ever going to work for Marvel, frankly. But listen, what I want to do is I want to tell a visual story while I draw, where basically the sky's open, the heavens open, and I mean just angels, like beautiful angels come down with swords and they annihilate the human race. And the only way to defeat these angels is to take on the powers of Ghost Rider, to allow yourself to be cursed. So that's what this is. So essentially, we're going to go through each Marvel character one by one, and we're going to talk about how they accept the curse. Jean Grey will be in it. Here's Thor. Here's Ghost Rider Thor. Boom. All right. So, first one on Tuesday is going to surprise the hell out of you. Each character, I don't know how many I can do, but I'm going to draw, maybe I'll do 5 or 7, something like that. I will draw Marvel characters and recreate them as though they've accepted Ghost Rider's curse. And you'll get one a day. And then I guess to pay for it, I'll sell the original art on eBay because it'll take up a lot of time. So you'll be able to watch the video. I'll tell the story, and then the video should pay for themselves because I could just sell the original art on eBay. It just seems like a good idea. I'm looking at all your ideas. And this is the thing. I mean, this is what, and this will be my first one, but this is what YouTube to me is meant to be. I really feel like I can do commentary. I've done commentary on my own books. I can do instructional drawing videos. But guys, that's not what I do. I am a storyteller. I want to tell you guys stories and I want to entertain you. And even if you're not someone who, aspires to draw or write comics, I know you're somebody who enjoys reading them and having stories told to you. So first one is Tuesday night. I'm going to release them probably at the stroke of midnight and just make it extra creepy. Yeah. I hope you guys like it, And, this is the thing. I don't know, maybe this will grow my channel, maybe it won't. But if this is successful, this is the first art demo series, okay? From there, I'm going to do many, many more art demo series. And, just one image per video, because I'm going to color it. You'll see me draw it. If you want to know what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, go back and watch my Iron Lantern video, where we talk about what would happen if Tony Stark got a Green Lantern ring and became Iron Man. It's basically, I give you little tips, I tell you a little story, but you mostly watch me draw it. And this time, and that time you couldn't buy the original art, but this time you can. So it'll be pretty cool. And I will listen to suggestions about who you would like to see Ghost Riderized, who you would like to see cursed. Yeah. And you guys have already got good ideas. I like it. And it's fanfic. So that's the thing. It's going to say fanfic. So, fair use. I can do villains. I can do anyone, really. I mean, the thing is, these angels that you see come down from the sky with their halos and their swords are the ultimate bad guys. They're self-righteous. They're trying to destroy the human race because they think it's impure. So at that point, I mean, there is no good and evil anymore when it comes to humanity, and everybody that's on Earth, everyone is on the same side to fight angels. And you can't defeat angels in any other way than through like Mephisto, Why angels? Aren't you Christian? Yeah, I am Christian. So what? I'm telling fun stories. It's not real, you know. Yeah. Any questions, you guys, or should I let you go to sleep? Darth Vader Ghost Rider would be so cool. I probably won't do Ghost Rider America Chavez Heather C. I mean, I probably won't. Let's see. Yeah, what was that eBay commission you talked about recently? Okay, so you can go on my eBay channel, my eBay page. There's a link at the bottom in the description of all my videos. It'll take you right to my eBay. Everyone's always asking me, how do we get commissions? How do we get commissions? Now, I can't do full-fledged commissions for everyone, but I can once a week take a day off and just pretend I'm at a convention and do convention sketches. If you would like to order a convention sketch, a figure, or a bust, you can go to my eBay page and you can order them there. And they deliver, or they get shipped out in about 10 days. You'll probably have them in 12 days after order. Yeah, you'll be happy. I'm gonna institute color ones pretty soon. Right now they're all black and white, but I'm going to implement and offer color commissions as well. And when I draw them, oftentimes I will film them and put them up on the channel as well, so you guys can watch them. Oh, don't get offended by this, guys. The God sent angels to destroy mankind, but no, stop. It's not religious. It has nothing to do with Jesus. It's just spooky Marvel comic stuff. And who knows? I don't even think they're God's angels. I didn't say that they were. They could be aliens. Yeah. Iceman, Ghost Rider, Ghost Skyver. No, not Ghost Skyver, but guess what? Ghost Spider. Spider-Man, Ghost Rider. Les Goose says, how does it feel that people compare your art to the great Brian Boland? Well, Brian Boland is my favorite artist, and I do try to draw like him sometimes. When they compare my art to him, they're going to compare my art unfavorably, which doesn't make me feel good. But then again, just that you see it and you get the same kind of vibe that you might get from Brian Boland is nice. I like that as well. But yeah, nobody's as good as Brian Boland. Comic Artist Pro Secrets. This is Boner Man. Hi, Boner Man. Would you read Squirrel Girl if the whole concept is her as a college student looking for her identity as a superhero while trying to solve why her classmates have powers? Sure. If it was well written, I'd read that. I don't mind Squirrel Girl. I think Squirrel Girl could be cool. I did a video about my version of Squirrel Girl. That Valid Delinquent, it's perfectly okay. You're not starting anything. That you can go watch. Nathan Cinder, thank you for the very generous super chat. That's going right into the diaper fund. Thank you. Yeah, that is really kind of you. Thank you, Nathan. I like Squirrel Girl, and if you go look at my version of Squirrel Girl, I think you might like her too. I see her differently. Like, I just think she's cute, and she should be fun. I also think she's smart, and like I would think Squirrel Girl would be smart like a squirrel is smart, like clever, crafty. She could outsmart people, and that's one of her main powers, is she's very smart and fun and crafty, and agile too. Like, she can climb a tree. I don't know. What does Squirrel Girl do? Right now she's invincible somehow. Yeah. James Brown says, congrats on that reward. Even if I told you on Twitter you deserve it. I'm talking about my Critical Blast Award for Best Artist 2017. I mean, thank you. Guys, that was from you to me. I didn't do anything. You guys, they had a voting page or something, and I got 30% of the votes. And by the way, there were like 20 people. I saw the pie chart. It was like, there are 20 people who are running for best artist. Maybe a 15, I don't know. But I got 30% of the votes, and that's all down to you guys just deciding to do something nice for me. And honestly, that's I mean, it made my day. And I'll tell you something, this month has been no fun. I have had a really, really rough month, being harassed, and you've seen it all on Twitter and everything. That completely made my day. And, throughout all of this, I try not to complain, and I just want to keep doing good things. Throughout all of this, my attitude is just to stay positive and try to kind of, if I can be I'm older than some of you, so if I can be a good influence on you, you call me Uncle Ethan, but I've been a big brother my whole life. I have 4 little brothers, and if I can be a good influence on my fans, I want to do that, and also just kind of keep you guys focused on what's important, and what's important is comics. I mean, so yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I want to do to keep you guys focused and keep you guys excited and not worry about the ridiculous culture war that's going on right now. The only culture war that really needs to happen is who can draw the best comics and who can attract the largest and most devoted following. Maxwell Miller, thank you for another super chat. What old school comic artist was ahead of their time? Well, John Byrne, without question. Jack Kirby, without question. I mean, even also, if you go way back, Jack Cole, creator of Plastic Man, was way ahead of his time. So smart. My favorite. I think he is my favorite artist. John Wilcox says, you need to get Noah on a stream, please. Noah has been in 2 of my videos. When he came to visit, he had Thanksgiving over here, and we went to see Justice League together. And then we did a kind of drawing. My dad's a cartoonist, kind of. He's more of a poet and a writer, but he writes a little cartoon strip. And me and Noah, Noah's my little brother, Noah Van Sciver. He's a cartoonist in the vein of, say, R. Crumb or Peter Bagg. He's really, really super talented, and he has a devoted following of fans. Noah came over and had Thanksgiving with us. He's 10 years younger than me. And we kind of drew my dad's comic strips just to make my dad happy, and we filmed it. And that video is available, of course, right here on my channel. Just scroll back and look up, is it groundhogs? What were they? My dad draws comics or writes comics about groundhogs, or something. So you can find that video. You can see Noah draw, and it's a pleasure. He's a really, really good cartoonist. But I did ask him, I said, why don't you let me interview you? And he didn't want to. He's not that kind of guy. He's shy. Yeah. Maxwell Miller, what do you think of comic movie fatigue? I'm feeling it myself. I hope other people aren't feeling it. But yeah, I mean, Black Panther came out. Everyone likes it. So keep making them. Keep making comic book movies, I guess. See, the thing about the comic book movies is that they kind of continue to fund the comic books. So we need the comic book movie industry to support the comic book industry. What did you honestly think of the Justice League movie? Smoke Norp. I thought it had moments of wonderfulness in a sea of things that I thought were wrong and inappropriate. And that's what I thought about it. I hated the Flash with a fiery passion. And, out of all the characters on the screen, Flash was the character that I was closest to. So I was really hoping to like the Flash, and I didn't like it at all. But yeah, the movie, I don't know. I don't want to see it ever again, honestly. That's how I feel about it. Meanwhile, all the Christopher Nolan Batman movies I've watched maybe 10 or 15 times each. I really like those. Vile Delinquent. Ethan, as a writer, how can I pitch a comic book? I'm gonna have to do a whole video about that, because people ask me that, and it's just that's not really how it works. And I should do a video where I give you a strategy and give you advice, and I will do that. It's a good subject for a video. Also, if you guys haven't yet, I know he's a controversial figure to a lot of you, but B. Clay Moore has opened up a YouTube channel called The Comic Book Writer, and you should subscribe to him. He actually will give you good advice about that, whereas I'm just an artist. It's easy for artists to get work. It's harder for writers to get work. What horror monster will be the next big thing like zombies? Ooh. Let's see. That's a good question. I don't know. I had a Robert Muñez. I had a whole theory about werewolves and zombies representing the mood of the country being kind of like right wing, and then like UFOs and vampires representing Democrats that I would love to tell you about at some point. I don't know what other monsters there could be. I would like to see ghosts. Yeah. Yeah, I know. When Locus Mortis, when I say I know he's controversial, I'm offering it to you. I'm not recommending it. If that's how you feel, you don't have to. I'm just saying. Eve, what's nuts? My theory? I'll tell you the theory now. Okay. I don't know if it works anymore because I lost track of it. But if you think about culture, okay. So in 1968, Richard Nixon won the election. First Republican to win an election since Eisenhower. Okay, and the 1950s, let's just start with 1968, and Night of the Living Dead came out. Okay, and then Republican or Democrats took over in 1976. And basically that was all the UFO movies, all the outer space movies, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, UFOs and aliens, okay? So let me make that clear again. Werewolves and zombies represent Republican rule, and UFOs, meaning spaceships, alien abduction, and vampires represent Democrat rule, okay? So in 1980, Ronald Reagan won, and boom, you've got Wolfen, you've got Howling. And there weren't werewolf movies in the 70s, really. You've got Wolfen, Howling, you've got Michael Jackson's Thriller, werewolves and zombies together. You've got Return of the Living Dead, you've got that whole franchise. All the way up until the 1990s, 1992, Bill Clinton gets elected, and suddenly it's all about UFOs, conspiracies, and vampires. You've got Dracula, the remake, like the big Dracula movie. You've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You've got Kindred. You've got, let's see, more vampire stuff. You've got, what's the Anne Rice one? Interview with a Vampire. And then you've got the X-Files, and you've got all these people claiming to be abducted by UFOs. All that stuff came to a screeching halt when George W. Bush kind of won the election in 2000. There was controversy about whether or not he won the election. Was it Al Gore? Was it? Well, to represent that, we've got a movie called Underworld that came out around that time. It's vampires versus werewolves. It literally is conflict between Democrats and Republicans. But then when George Bush took the office, everything got canceled. X-Files got canceled. Buffy got canceled. All that vampire stuff got canceled. And suddenly it was 28 Days Later. Suddenly it was all about Dawn of the Dead, that remake, Walking Dead, etc., etc. Zombies basically ruled. They absolutely ruled through Bush's regime. Now, I knew that Obama was going to win the election back in 2007. I knew he was going to win because suddenly there were previews for an X-Files movie. Eric Brand, thank you for the very generous super chat. Is there anything that, despite years of experience, still isn't fun to draw? Yes. Cars. They suck. I Am Legend. Very good. You can just go back and find it, and you'll see that, X-Files was going to come back in 2007. I knew Obama was going to win in 2008 when 30 Days of Night hit. And 30 Days of Night was a vampire movie, the first vampire movie that was written for the zombie era. All right? And that came out the same time. So it was clear that Obama was going to win. And once Obama won, suddenly it was Twilight, wasn't it? Suddenly it was all about Twilight and vampires, like a new kind of vampire, wasn't it? Wait, how did I trigger Sean Gordon Murphy? All right. Yeah, so this is my theory. And it tends to work. I haven't been keeping track of it lately because I just think things are so confused and people are so divided that there isn't like really a mood in the country anymore. But if you look throughout, from 1968 to say Obama's time in office, there was another vampire thing during Obama. There was Twilight and there was something else. What was it? Yeah, the Walking Dead TV show came out in 2010, right when the Republicans took Congress back. How do you like that? Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Van Helsing. Well, I mean, it's a theory that I've had for a little while. World War Z. I mean, look at Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer. That's exactly right. That movie came out in 2012, right? Right when we thought Mitt Romney might win. So literally you have Abraham Lincoln, a Republican, slaying a vampire. But guess what? The movie bombed. And that's why Obama won re-election. Yeah, Vampire Diaries during Obama. That's correct. What do you think of my theory? And you're still thinking of Ghost Riders. True Blood, thank you. True Blood was the other vampire thing. So all of this stuff happened, right when, people thought Romney was going to win. All this stuff happened. Yeah, it does. It's really, really strange. But again, right now, are zombies more popular than zombies are Republicans. They are more popular. No, because there's Star Wars. Interview with a Vampire came out during Bill Clinton. And Clinton was all UFO abduction. If you remember that, everybody was saying they were abducted by UFOs. There was a lot of conspiracy stuff. If Walking Dead gets canceled, does that mean Trump loses? No, it doesn't mean anything anymore. I don't know. I don't think it works anymore. It really, really did work up until Trump. Why are werewolves Republicans? I don't know. There's no reason. It's like people have said, well, yeah, because zombies are brain dead like Republicans and vampires are seductive bloodsuckers like Democrats. It's like that has nothing to do with it. I don't think. I'm getting all the Walking Dead stuff. All right, well, I've kept this stream going for pretty long, and you guys have hung out with me a long time. I got to get back to work. Thank you for the super chats. I made like almost $50. That is 2 boxes of diapers. Andrew is going to be really happy about that. Thank you. And yeah, listen, I love you all too. Leave comments. Oh, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. I have a Patreon now if you want to help support the channel and things like this. If you want to support things like this, go to my Patreon, drop $1 in every month, for goodness sake. And that really does help kind of excuse the time that I spend making videos for you guys. Please subscribe, hit the bell, like this video on your way out, and Watchmen, I'm not ignoring you. I see you. You guys have a great night, okay? All right, see ya.